So years ago, maybe 3 years ago or so, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I made this documentary type video about when a someone on a helpline called the police and sent the police after me. Um, I deleted that video. It was my most successful video at the time, and at the time, like I didn't have videos. I was like, it was going on like 100,000 views, and it was at the very top of the self harm subjects. Like if you typed in self harm, it was at the top. But I deleted it because a lot of people were taking it too much as attention seeking, and it made me feel in a way that they were right because it was just like I don't know, just because it wasn't that much of a point to it. Um, I guess maybe just showing what it was like for me, but I don't want to like show uh, what happened. I want to talk about what happened. Basically, I was really in a bad place and I wanted to light my leg on fire. So I got some oil and poured it on my leg and lit a lighter and set it out, and it didn't light fire. And I realized, duh, because it's cooking oil, and cooking oil has to be at a certain temperature before it burns, before it'll light on fire. So it didn't work. And then I thought, well, I have another lighter in the car. I could break it open and put the lighter fluid on me. But then I thought, hey, maybe first I'll ask for help. Like there was like that kind of a wall that was like saying like the lighter is downstairs, and maybe I think maybe I can just wait a second, pick up the phone and call the 811, which is where they have suggestions for like medical stuff, and there's a section for mental health, like if you're in distress. And so I called 811 because the suicide hotline was really terrible. And I wasn't trying to kill myself. I just wanted a worse pain, a bigger pain that would hurt so bad for a long time. Which is incredibly dangerous. Let me just say right now, if you're thinking this is a great idea, it is not. I could have died. Like if I had had the right kind of cooking oil, the right kind of oil, and I had lit it, I probably would have died because it would have been hard pressed to put the fire out, and it would have burned me. It would have burned my apartment. It would have killed the people downstairs, and I wasn't even thinking about that. I just thought, you know what? And I had this bucket of water, blonde girl at the time, and you can't put oil fire out with water. Yeah, it was pretty stupid. But then so then I was waiting. I figured, okay, lighter downstairs, pick up the phone, 811. I talk to the lady, I tell her what's going on, tell her I'm in distress, and I explain what's going on. I don't remember exactly what situation it was at the time, but it was really related to my past, the post-traumatic stress and the anxiety, the extreme anxiety, the PTSD, that kind of thing. So yeah, I was telling her all about this, and I admitted what I had tried to do and that I was thinking about the lighter downstairs, and I didn't think that she would be able to like know where I was or anything. She kept pressing me to go to the hospital. She said, "Go to the hospital. You need to go now, like right now. Like go to the hospital." I was like, "No, I'm not going to the hospital. I'm not gonna go." I was sick of it. I was sick of the hospital. I didn't want to go. I hated it, and I was absolutely categorically no. But she kept pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing, and I was keep saying no. And I was kind of in distress a little bit about it. At some point, she said that if I didn't go on my own, she was gonna call the cops and have them come and get me. And I was like, no, you won't. Like, whatever. Like, I'm not going to the hospital. So I think that someone should put me on hold. You know, looking back, maybe she put me on hold so she could call the cops. I don't know. Actually, not at that point. She hadn't called the cops yet at that point. She put me on hold. And while I was on hold, and this is the part where people thought I was attention seeking, was because I thought I was sitting in front of my computer as I am now. Like, the computer was on. I was sitting in front of it. It wasn't recording or anything, but I was just like sitting there in front of it because I was always in front of my computer anyways. So I think I'm on hold, la 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 la. I think, you know what? I could document this and show what's going on. So I turned the record button on, and it was recording while I was on hold, and I explained in the video what was going on, and that I was freaked out. She said she was going to call the cops and blah blah blah. And then she'd come back online, and she kept pressing me again. You have to go to the hospital. And I was just like silent for a second, for like actually maybe like 20 seconds, and then I was just like, oh my goodness, and then I just like hung up. And not long after, well, I get a knock at the door. Well, actually, I look out the window and I hear all this noise, and I'm like, I see some police cars pull up, ambulances, and a fire truck. So I'm freaking out, and so I just sit there in the living room, and there's this knock at the door, and I don't go there. I don't answer right away, and then there's like, is there someone in there? And I'm like, yeah. Did you call the police? No. Someone else did. And they demanded to come in, and so I let them in. They wanted to know what was going on, and I just said that I wanted to hurt myself. But then when they were looking around, they saw the lighter on the floor. They saw the big bowl of water, and I guess they were like, what are you doing? And I was like, and then I said what I was going to do. So then I guess that's why they called the ambulance, the fire truck. The fire truck was there because I was trying to light myself on fire, obviously. After that, I guess they said that there was no way they could leave me at home in the situation that I was in. So they said that I had to go with them to the hospital. But I was so humiliated because I didn't want to go outside with the people, my neighbors were all out on their lawns and the sidewalks watching, and there was all these people outside with, like, obviously because there was this big humbug, two police cars, an ambulance, and a fire truck, yeah. And they were all like wondering what is going on, and so and then I was like looking out the door, and I was like, I don't want to go, and I was hiding behind the door, and they were like, what's going on? And like, I can't because there's all those people, and they said, okay, well then they ordered the fire truck to go away, considering that the danger was past. So the fire truck left, and we waited till some people went inside, and then I went out reluctantly, but I had to, and the ambulance took me pretty much down the road, $150 to go down the road, to the hospital. And they kept me overnight, sent me home. I said, you know what, I don't want to stay here, and they respected that. They sent me home, but I was like, the danger had passed at that point. I wasn't lighting myself on fire, and I really, really, really am glad that I did not light myself on fire. Like I said earlier, I could have died. I probably would have if I had used the right oil. Terrible, terrible, terrible thing, and I would have burned down the apartment and killed people. Like, it would have been absolutely horrendous. But I wasn't thinking at the time. I was just thinking, you know what, I can do this in a contained fashion. But yeah, anyways, I wanted to explain that video. Yeah, bring this idiot over here. I wanted to explain that video because some people were like, what happened to that video? Like, I watched it several times and I wanted to see it again, but you know what, it's gone. I didn't feel very good about that video, but I feel like talking about it isn't the same thing as showing all, you know, the cops coming at the door and stuff. But I wanted to tell that story because it is something that happened to me. It happened to me. It was very, very intense, and I think it is still a good idea to call a helpline, because listen, if I hadn't called that helpline and I had gone down to get the oil, imagine what could have happened to me. So helplines are good. They don't all have these tracking systems. They don't all. You can research it for whatever place to make to see if they have tracking systems or not. If that's something that would keep you from calling them. But it is a good idea. Or there is okay, I can put another link to where Unsuicide. It's a page with like a bazillion links for help, chat rooms, Skype contacts. You can even have actual therapists online. You have to pay for the therapists, but you Skype with the therapist from your own home. And those links are there too. There's some links to YouTube. There's a link to my channel actually too. Yeah, it's a really great link. So I'm gonna give a link to that. I think that's a really fantastic site, and I will recommend it regularly whenever there's a need. So yeah. You can find, also I just made a video, you can find me on YouNow. I'm going to be doing some live chats. You can find the link to that in the previous video, to my profile, so that you can be advised when I go on. And I'll put a link to my Facebook. I make updates there that I don't make here. I say things there that I don't say here. So if you're interested, go ahead. So take care, guys, and I guess I'll see you soon. Bye.